Welcome to my Honda Navi ride number 3. Today I'm recording with my Insta360 camera and a USB-C microphone that is designed to work with the Insta360. And I think it sounds pretty good, at least in my little test run I did at home before I left. So today we are going to do a ride out at the Great Salt Lake in Utah, out at Antelope Island. Wanted to see what our water situation looks like out here with all this snow. And I also have a pretty good sized hill I want to try to pull with this scooter to see what it does. So it'll be a fun little ride. Going to be getting out the old e-bikes later today. It's a nice day. It's in the 50s. We're starting to get real spring now. And I can't guarantee that I'm not going to get a bug stuck to my lens on my camera. I won't be able to see it until I stop. But it is Brine Fly season out here at the island, and they're just everywhere. The nice thing about riding out here is it is only 25 miles an hour. So you can experiment a little bit, see how things go. This is my test riding area whenever I work on a scooter or get a scooter. We have club rides out here every now and then. It's just a good test environment, and it's not super busy. So there are a couple of things I can point out. Let's see, I've currently got 65 miles on the Navi. And I can point out a couple of other things for those who are looking at buying one. These things do not like side winds. It was really scary when I was testing my other headphone setup or microphone setup. This thing's just so light that when a wind gust would come up, man, it would blow me across the road. And it doesn't like grooved cement. So I don't know if new tires would fix some of that. I'm certainly going to think about that. Other than that, so far it's been great. Starts right up. The warmer it gets, the easier it is to start, which obviously makes sense. Handles these little bends in the road really easy. It's like you don't even have to try. We might see some buffalo today. I think they've let the buffaloes out of their winter pens. So they're going to start roaming. Might see some antelope. Yeah, looks like there's some buffalo out there in the distance. Unfortunately, with these action cams, you can't really zoom while you're driving. But maybe we'll have some up closer. Sometimes they get right out on the road, so we'll see. This thing definitely takes the corners better than my scooters, and a lot of it is because I can grip with my knees into the gas tank. That is the one thing that I really missed while doing my scooter riding, was that ability. Don't know why that's so important, but it's just one of those things that just makes the ride a little more comfortable, a little more stable, you're a little more sure of your cornering than having just dead air around your legs. And sorry if you hear a few snuffles, it is also allergy season, so I'm going to be fighting that at the same time. At least we don't have any sand on the road today. That's always fun to make a corner there and then hit 6 inches of sand. So this is Easter weekend, and all the campsites out here are full. Easter in Utah, you never know if you're going to go home with frostbite or go home with sunburn. This year we're kind of in the middle. Coming up on our right here, there is a small herd of buffalo. They're always fun to see. We have some bighorn sheep out here too, although I've never seen them. I think they are up a lot higher. I've seen coyotes, obviously buffalo, they're everywhere. I've seen antelope, I've seen a fox. I don't know how well you can pick up the Wasatch mountain range there, but still just boatloads of snow. And they're starting to get really worried because we're supposed to hit 70 this week. So this scooter does really well on the asphalt, does not do good on the grooved cement roads. It gets extremely wobbly. And what I don't know is how it's going to do in the summer on the tar snakes. If you don't know what a tar snake is, that's that black sealant that they put over cracks in asphalt. You're going to see a whole bunch of them up here in just a minute. And they get really slick as they get hot. Alright, ahead of me here is what we call Buffalo Point. And it's a pretty good sized hill, so we're going to just see how well the Navi pulls that. And you can see all of these tar snakes in front of me too on the road. They're just everywhere here. And they get a little slick when they get warm. Now we got people stopping here for the buffalo crossing. It's a pretty big boy. Still have their winter coats. Well, this isn't going to help my pull the hill situation or test, but okay, he's moving on now. Okay, so I'm pulling the hill here, and I'm at 30 miles an hour. No problems, easy to do. 35 miles an hour. Still, no big deal. I mean, this really is a pretty steep hill. And at these slower speeds, it's just not much of a challenge. I can accelerate just fine. Now, if this was a 40-mile-an-hour hill pull, it might be a little bit different, but I've got lots of throttle left. And here we are at the steepest point of this hill. and I'm at 30 miles an hour, and yeah, didn't even break a sweat. So that's a good thing. Alright, well, we're going to go down, and we're going to head back toward the house. We bring our e-bikes out here. It's a 27-mile round trip to do from our house to do the one loop and then back home. I don't know how much it adds to come up to here. I'll do a lot more riding out here as the season comes upon us. I like coming out here because it's not terribly dangerous with other cars, and you're pretty much free to do what you want. You just have to watch out for buffalo and antelope. I was out here riding one day, and my wife was on the back with me on my Vespa, and we had a couple of antelope just tearing across the field, and she said, you know, stop. It's like, what? Because I didn't see them at first, and so I did, and they shot right past the front of us. I think they would have collided us if we had kept going. Unfortunately, this time of year things aren't really pretty yet. Still brown and muddy and yucky. But so far so good. I'm still really enjoying the bike. It's getting more easier to start, more easier to ride as I get comfortable with how everything is, how the balance is, how the steering is. I'm still okay with the suspension. I know a lot of people change it out. I don't think I would do it just yet. We'll see. Maybe if I'm bored and want to do another upgrade of some sort. So my last upgrade I did last weekend because, well, it was snowing. I couldn't ride. I decided to put my LED kit together. So I did the LED headlight and tail light kit. I got it from the scooter swap shop. I also got the blinker relay from them as well, and I swapped that out. And it actually makes a clicking sound, which is kind of cool, except you can't hear it with your helmet on, so you know, that's not a game changer there. And I also put my windshield on that you can see. And I did the LED dashboard light. I did all of that in, I don't know, an hour, maybe two, last weekend. Oh, and I put new turn signals on. I took the big giant turn signals off, and I put the little small round ones on, which I also got from Scooter Swap Shop. None of that stuff was hard to do. It needed basic tools. Anybody could do it if they wanted to. Do you have to do that? Absolutely not. You can ride this bike just fine in the stock format. I wanted to do it because as I get older, nighttime becomes more of an issue, and I wanted to be able to see well when I do ride at night, and I also wanted to be seen more. But you do not have to do those upgrades. But they are super easy to do, and they really are not that expensive. The windscreen was not terribly difficult to put on either. Actually, everything that I've done to this has been super easy, far easier than on any of my Vespas. And it's not that the Vespa stuff is that difficult, it's just that when you've got that metal shell that the motor sits inside, and not a lot of removable pieces, it's just really slow going and very difficult to get to things. I also threw a tachometer on this while I was at it, just so that when I tune it, I can get the right RPMs. I have not had to do any tuning on this yet, so I'm still running on stock rollers, clutch, carburetor settings from the dealer, all of that. I'm currently pulling about 47 miles an hour right now in this little section. I imagine that will kind of increase as the bike breaks in a little more. I just wanted to get some riding under my belt with it before I start messing with rollers and clutches, because I wanted to have some comparisons. You really don't need to do any of that kind of stuff if you're a in-town rider on this bike, so you don't really have to stress over it. You know, you see video after video on YouTube of, you got to do this, I want to do that, you want to do this, you'll have to do this. I don't think any of that's really all true. I think it just really depends on you, how you like to ride, how you like to enjoy your hobby. There's a lot of people who like to just buy things and just modify them. You could just drive this thing to death, just stock, and be happy. Super glad I wore my heated gloves now, because now that I've been out here for a little bit, my hands would be cold. I didn't film me coming out to the island because this part that I'm on right now is kind of boring, and it's like 7 miles of just this. It's more scenic coming this direction because you can see the Wasatch Mountains and stuff, but I've put 35 miles on it today, and still comfortable. I'm really enjoying the fact that I have foot pegs and not a floorboard. I enjoyed the foot pegs and the gas tank gripping around those corners. This is every bit, actually even more so, more comfortable than my my Vespa style scooters. I am just really pleased with this purchase. I'm actually gaining a little speed. I must be going downhill or have a little bit of a tailwind. Maybe it's just breaking in some more. The tachometer was like $8. I put it on and I actually have it under the seat. And the reason why I didn't mount it up on my handlebars is because I want to be able to see it while I'm tuning it, so I can just pop the seat off and hold on to it with one hand and look at it while I adjust the throttle screws. But right now I haven't had to do anything. You know, I first thought I was just going to do all this tinkering and all, and I thought, no, I just want to see what it's like right out of the box. And so far it's been really great. Now I'm at about 4,500 foot elevation, so I'm not at sea level, so you know, your experiences may vary just depending on where you live. It's really nice to see that the Great Salt Lake is actually rebounding from some of this snow. They said that it's been up, or it's come up 3 feet so far. The Great Salt Lake's really large, but 40 years ago the water was right up to the road here, so it has really receded. It got so bad last year that the buffalo were actually walking across the bottom and walking into Salt Lake City. So they had to put a fence up all along out here so that the buffalo wouldn't escape and go shopping in downtown Salt Lake. Man, my windscreen, my visor, whatever you want to call it, is just pelted with these brine flies. I'm gonna have to go home and clean everything up. I'm about to hit 50 miles an hour. That's pretty cool. Again, for city riders and back roads riders, plenty fast. I don't think I'd want to take this thing past 55 miles an hour. I think it would get a little squirrely and scary, especially if you hit one of those concrete roads with the grooves in it, or you get hit with a sudden wind gust on the side. I am studying tires right now. I've seen several YouTubers talking about, you know, the importance of changing them out and how slick these factory tires are. I don't have a concern just yet, but, you know, if I feel uncomfortable, I will change them out. It's not worth taking the risks. So right now, I guess my thoughts are, if tires do need to be changed, the only thing that you might consider even changing on one of these is just the tires, and everything else could be factory. And I'm a fair weather rider. I don't ride in the rain, but I have been caught in the rain. But, you know, occasionally you're going to go through a water puddle, and you want to be safe. I have to worry about a lot of sand and gravel on my roads because of the snow plows in the winter, and just we got construction everywhere. So I always use caution on cornering and riding in those areas. Well, my next video might be the best way to remove bugs from your visor. Well, that was a pretty good little run. Hopefully you're enjoying my little videos. I'm trying to give as much information about the Navi as I can, giving you some information about my riding environment, more information about, you know, me, my size, all of that kind of stuff to help people decide on if this is a good purchase or not. You really can't go wrong at the price tag if you're a slow speed rider or you want your kids to learn how to ride. I see a lot of like couples buying them, and it's the wife's first bike. I think that's great. I know they advertise them for $1,807, but that is not what you're going to get out the door for. You're going to be anywhere, I've seen anywhere from $2,200 to $3,200, depending on dealer prep, shipping, etc., etc., etc. However, you can't buy anything else new for less than that. So, you know, there's that. finding used bikes right now is just really difficult. But this thing just sails right along, very comfortable, very enjoyable. The only thing that's tired is my throttle wrist, and a lot of that's just because, you know, I haven't had to throttle anything for several months, and it's just out of practice. So I'm gonna go home, take a little breather, check my video footage of what I just did. Probably fit a nap in there because, hey, you know, it's Saturday and who doesn't like a nap on the weekends? And then we're gonna get the e-bikes out and start getting conditioned to bicycle season. We plan on riding our bikes out to Antelope Island a lot. And as I do these rides, I'll ride in different areas, so it's not always the same for viewers. So I was going to adjust my brakes and all. I think I said that in my first video, but you know, I haven't yet, and I don't really need to. I think a lot of my initial comments were just because I'd never been on it. But honestly, everything is really doing really well.